Your beard sucked anyway. Oh my god, finally! Good old Canadian player.
Country! Deal with it.
Elon Smash!
Owen Grabowski.
GTFO. I got it from a bar. My clean-shaven face makes me sick. The Leafs lose 5-4 in overtime to the Boston Bruins in Game 7 of the Eastern Conference quarterfinal, and they are eliminated from the 2013 Stanley Cup playoffs. I've never done a Leafs playoff elimination video before. When I started doing these videos, I was like, well, looks like Paul Maurice and the crew couldn't get it done this year. So times have changed pretty significantly. So, looking at the final outcome of the game, if we can kind of step out of our Leaf jerseys for a sec, step out of ourselves, and just look at it, here's what it is. What Game 7 could have been was an amazing comeback story. Instead, we got an amazing comeback story. The Leafs, 9 years without the playoffs. They're playing the Bruins, probably the last team they wanted to play in the playoffs. They're down 3-1 in the series. They force a Game 7. They're up 4-1 in Game 7. And imagine if they win. It's only a first round victory, but you kind of wipe your hands clean of it and you move on to the second round, and who knows what happens from there. Maybe you lose. Maybe the Rangers sweep them. But it's a change. It is a definitive end of the terrible era for the team and their fans. And you know what? You could call just making the playoffs that. Instead, down 3 goals, the Bruins find a way with like half a period remaining to score all 3, tie it up, and win it in OT. And in the last few years, I've seen some terrible, repugnant finishes to games that just leave you, ugh. I was actually there in Saskatoon when Jordan Eberle scored 2 goals to tie it up for Canada against the States. You could hear Team USA celebrate on the ice because the stadium was so quiet. I was in Buffalo when Team Russia scored 5 unanswered goals in the third to come back from a 3-0 deficit, another 3-goal deficit in the third period that wasn't safe, and Canada loses. And I wasn't in Boston for this one, but to be down at Maple Leaf Square. And I was there in Vancouver, though, for Canada's gold medal win. There's my... Here, how do I do this on camera? There's my ticket. But to see those 3 losses, just brutal, brutal, brutal. A lot of people want to play the blame game. I play the blame game all the time in these videos, but... No, I can't. I'm seeing a lot of people dump on Phaneuf, and... You know what? Whatever, that's fine. My favorite was Don Cherry on the tying goal. Like, here's Phaneuf, just move Chara! He's in front of your goalie, move him! One does not simply move Zdeno Chara. All you gotta do is move the biggest player in NHL history. It's really not that hard. And while I was really impressed with Jake Gardner's performance in this series, Cody Franzen was very good. Dave Nonis's homework for this upcoming offseason, he's got some things to deal with up front. Bozak may be leaving. He needs to bring in a new center. Get another defenseman. That Phaneuf-Gunnarsson pairing is the best one on the Leafs, but they are playing way too much. As for the OT winner, I haven't watched it again. I know Bergeron scored it. Cover him next time. I don't know. I don't want to watch it again. And losing like that, there's no positive coming from that. You can't say, well, there's a lot of positives you can take away. No. You can, however, take positives away from the whole playoff experience, and I think this team will. And I said it before, so you know I'm not just being a sore loser. The Boston Bruins put on a clinic of what you can get away with in the playoffs that you can't in the regular season, and they put on even more of a clinic in what you can get away with in the third period of a Game 7 as opposed to any other period in the playoffs. I'm not going to say, oh, this Bruin should have got a penalty or that guy should have got a penalty. It's just you can get away with murder. You can just huck a water bottle on the ice if you don't like the way a face-off is set up. My cousin, you can follow him on Twitter, Visco75, made a great point. What if Claude Julien just walked on the ice and told the ref himself? What would the difference be? And I'm not saying that the ref should have called a penalty in the Bruins' home arena at the beginning of overtime in Game 7. But again, it's just proof you can get away with anything you want. Brad Marchand, for example, so hateable. He does all these dirty little things. He gets away with it, though. You can learn from him. Hate him, too, I guess, but learn from him. And hats off, absolutely full marks to the Boston Bruins for an amazing comeback. I can't believe they did that. And I'm not sure exactly how appropriate this is to mention, but someone made an amazing observation on Twitter yesterday. His Twitter handle is Suicide Pass. He's good. Give him a follow. This is a cover photo from after the Boston Marathon bombing. This is a photo of the Boston Bruins after they won in Game 7 of overtime. That is an eerie, eerie shot. And after something like that, I'm glad to see Boston so happy. It's good that they get to experience a celebration like this now. I just wish it wasn't at the expense of the Leafs. And with the exception of a few stupid fans on both sides, I thought both fan bases were great. Here was the scene down at Maple Leaf Square during Game 7. Just check out all the friggin' amazing fans. This is shot, by the way, by my fiance, Mrs. Dangle, on Twitter. She's up on my shoulders, and then I almost drop her at the end because I suck. So let's start to wrap this up here. Let's figure this out. The Leafs are out. But they made the playoffs this year, which, despite the brutal way they went out, is a huge improvement. We found out that injury was just a bump in the road, and James Reimer is actually a pretty damn good goalie. And in his absence, when he went down with an injury for a little bit, Ben Scrivens is a pretty damn good goalie too. The Leafs have the second cheapest goaltending tandem in the entire National Hockey League, and after Braden Holtby's extension in Washington, I'm pretty sure they're slated to have the cheapest in the NHL next season. Reimer and Scrivens are just over $2.4 million combined. Luongo, what was that? Kiprusoff? I got something in my ear, what? We now know that Nazem Kadri is an NHL player. We don't know exactly how good of an NHL player, right? He had some good streaks and some bad streaks in a shortened season, but he's here. We learned that Phil Kessel is amazing, and if you disagree, you're just wrong. We learned there's some work to be done on defense, but really, what else is new? We learned that even though this is Dave Nonis' team now, Brian Burke might have made the steal of last offseason by getting Jay McClement for what he did. We learned that new Leaf James Van Riemsdyk is a heck of a player and an even better playoff player. Holy crap, was he great in that series. And we learned that the Leafs, for now, are back. I'll say it again, it was a devastating way to lose. But consider this. No team that used to suck gets good right away. Look at all the recent Cup winners, with the exception of the Detroit Red Wings, because they're mutants. The Penguins were terrible, horrible, brutal for years and years, and that's how they got players like Malkin and Crosby. They were crap, and they finally make the playoffs, and they play the Sens, and they get killed. Then they make the playoffs again, and they play the Sens, and they kill them. And they make it all the way to the final, where they lose to the Red Wings. Next year, they make their triumphant return to the final to play the Red Wings again, and they beat them. The Chicago Blackhawks seem like a perennial contender now. They were terrible for a long, long time. Caves and Tane and Keith and Seabrook. They miss the playoffs by 3 points. They make it to the conference final the next year. Cup. The Bruins were garbage. They had Andrew Raycroft have that one sick year, and then they sucked. That's the reason Tim Thomas came to be. He was like their third or fourth goalie. And they were like, oh, I guess we'll give this guy who spent half his career in Finland a shot. And look what he did. 06-07, they were last in the Northeast. Finally make the playoffs again. They lose, then semis, cup. The LA Kings were a joke. No playoffs, out in the quarters, just squeak into the playoffs and become the first 8th seed to ever win the Stanley Cup. So I know nothing's really going to make up for that Game 7 loss, but take some comfort in the fact that it's super rare a team just goes, oh, we suck. No, we're amazing. Cup. It just doesn't happen that way. If that's how the Penguins had to do it, and that's how the Blackhawks had to do it, that's how you have to do it. If we're going to go way back to like the 80s, the Red Wings sucked. That's how they got Yzerman, and they built up, and that was a dynasty. And the Leafs have done their fair share of being terrible, so now this is their time to rise. So that's all my thoughts on the game. So I guess I gotta say goodbye because it's my last video of the season. It was so much easier in seasons before because I knew the last video was coming because the Leafs were eliminated like a month ago. There was like 10 games left. I'm like, it's still mathematically possible. And I want to say thank you for watching, liking the videos, commenting on them, following me on Twitter or whatever, because this, I gotta think about it. I think this was the craziest year of my life. Because I work in hockey. That's what I do now. That's my job. That's my career. And then September rolls around and I'm just like, oh damn. And I was working at the Toronto Zoo last summer just because I'm like, well, it's the summer. I might as well work outside. There's no point in sitting around. And by the end of it, I'm just like, oh no. And I love that place, but I'm like, CBC though. And I quit the zoo. And my boss says, you can stay. And I go, I'm never going to find work if I don't look for it. I'll be totally candid with you. I made $100 in September. That's not enough, by the way. My Russian buddy, Andrea Sachinka, and myself, we were just sitting together one day and we're like, what do we do? We both work in hockey and there isn't any. And we put our heads together, and with everything that we've learned over the last few years and everything we know, we started doing highlight packs for the Continental Hockey League's YouTube channel. They like the idea, they pick it up, and that's what we did. And then I started helping out with Nike again and doing some World Junior stuff. I'm writing and doing videos for theleafsnation.com, and that starts building, and that site's traffic grows. The Mississauga Steelheads allowed me to be an in-arena host for some of their games. The lockout ends, CBC brings me back. My boss, my first shift in, walks into the room, looks me in the eye, shakes my hand, and says, welcome home, my buddy John Putty. And I get another job working freelance, doing highlights and all sorts of cool stuff for the NHL Network. So if I can cover hockey for a living in a year where there's no NHL, what is really gonna stop me? Really? It really is the sort of thing that makes you look at life and go, and what? What? I'm gonna take a lot more than that to take me down. So to all of you who watch my stuff, do anything with any of my stuff, even the hate mail I get, big hug. Let's all hug it out right now. And these videos, we got to take the next step with them. I hated the lockout. I was an angry, angry man during it. But since hockey has come back, I've never had more fun making videos than I had this season. Season 6 of making LFR videos. We need some upgrades. I need a camera with a microphone that doesn't sound like I'm in a field at night. And while this bedroom is great and I've spent basically my whole life in it, I gotta move out. I'm getting married. So it needs to generate like money. And I tweeted last night that I'm gonna make this video like it's my last, because it very well may be my last. That was a dumb thing to say. It's not going to be my last. I love doing this way too much. I think maybe it'll change. Maybe some things need to change, but I love doing this. I love doing you. What? The Leafs improved this year, and they're going to keep improving. I hope to resemble that. So thank you very much for watching. If you want to see more of my stuff, you obviously know where to find it. TheLeafsNation.com, SteveDangle.com, my Twitter, my Facebook, all of that stuff is in the underbar, and you can check it out. Thanks for watching. And subscribe to this YouTube channel too. 3 million views, by the way. We just passed it recently. And if you subscribe, you'll know whenever I upload a video on whatever. Alright guys, this is my 84th Luongo trade update video. Okay, hopefully not that. Thanks for watching. Go Leafs go, and take care.